everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Soul Digger podcast with me, your host, Kim Mellor. And today I am joined by a very inspirational woman that I have been admiring from afar during this crazy time of lockdown. And Sally Fazeli, is that how I pronounce your second name?
Yeah, you said it right.
It actually rhymes as well. How cool is that? Sally is just the most she's the most gorgeous woman inside and out. Like, you know, when you just feel the heart of someone. And I was like, I just need to get her on the podcast to just give some of your wisdom and your love to all of my listeners. And Sally has created content online for the past few years. She is a mum of 2 children. She's pregnant with her 3rd child, about to give birth in about 6 weeks' time. And she is really passionate about self-love and helping women to realize what they are really capable of. So, Sally, welcome to the Soul Digger podcast.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for welcoming me on here with such a beautiful introduction. I feel completely honoured. Thank you.
Honestly, if I could picture an angel, like your energy and how you glow and who you are just absolutely angelic. So yeah, pregnancy suits you. It does suit you.
I feel like my eyes are filling up now. Yeah, that means a lot. Thank you.
So yeah, I'd love for you to just share with my listeners kind of a bit about your background and your journey and how you kind of got to where you are today.
Yeah. Wow. So it's been quite a journey. I feel like I first started this journey back when I was 18. And I followed this huge impulse within me that I didn't want to go and do what I'd set out to do in uni, which was I was going to go and do art. And then I got this overwhelming feeling that I don't want to do that anymore. And the most amazing words that my mum ever told me, and I always take to this day and try and offer it to my children as well, is just follow your heart. Do what you really enjoy doing, even if you're not sure how you would form a career out of it or anything like that. Do what you enjoy doing. So I then went on to do a dance teaching degree, and I found this module within it called somatics, which is what I fell in love with. Then I went on to do my master's in it. And that was all about healing from the inside out. We did a lot of movement, closing our eyes, connecting within, and realizing who we really are and our true essence. And that's what I fell in love with. That was back when I was 18. I'm now how old am I? 33, nearly 34. I lose track now. But yeah, I'm nearly 34, and I came back on this path about 3 years ago now. But back then, I was also going through a really intense eating disorder as well. And it was actually through the somatic work that I really restored and was able to work through the trauma of where it had all stemmed from and bring healing, restoration, and really step into who I really am. Back then, somatics wasn't really a popular thing over here. So I felt a little bit, what do I do? Because I then bought a house. I needed a set income coming in every month. So I knew that, you know, the mortgage and everything would be covered. So I jumped into my family business, and then I've been on a whole host of different journeys with their creating content online for brands, doing blogs, YouTube, all of that kind of thing. And then it was after I had my second child, Remy, when I was 30, but more like 31, 32, I reached a point in my life where I was like, who am I? Take away being mum, take away being a wife, take away being a so-called like blogger type person and working for brands. Who is Sally? And it really, really hit me hard. And I came up against different situations which at the time they broke me, traumatized me, and I felt in such a low place. And but I realize now they had to happen for me to reconnect with my inner world, to my truth, to my true essence of who I really am. And that is what catapulted me onto this journey, which I'm absolutely embracing now. So that was only about 2 or 3 years ago that that happened. And I've made some massive radical decisions in my life that have been so scary, but I've had to align my life and what I'm doing in my career and everything around me with what I feel called to do from the inside. I think you resonate with that because I'm pretty sure that's after knowing about your story as well. I really resonate with that. We all come up against this decision whether we continue doing what we know, what we feel is kind of comfortable, or do we step into the unknown and open ourselves to the magic of what the universe, what God can give us, you know? So that's where I'm at now. I can go on, or should I go into a specific area?
Yeah, just to touch on that, you know, when you spoke about, you know, you had a really low moment, and that was like the turning point for you. And I think a lot of people now are going through low moments with lockdown, and to really understand that if you are going through this low and this unknown time, it is an opportunity, and it will become clear in whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you'll look back and go, wow, that was a trigger for me making this humongous change. It's forcing us all to look in. I think before, you know, awakening was a choice or something that you did because something happened to you. But I think the whole world is now being forced to look at themselves and say, why am I here? What's important to me? And I love the fact that you spoke about the unknown, and that's where the magic is, because a lot of people are so afraid of the unknown because they don't know it. But in order for you to transform your life, you have to let go of what is, so that the universe can give you what can become.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I remember so vividly how low I felt at that point, and it was around Christmas time, and this situation, which was actually surrounding friendships that I was in at the time, and it started to affect the way I felt. I felt really, really low. I felt super lonely, and it was starting to affect my home life because I actually felt really depressed, and I couldn't find joy. I couldn't come out of victim mode, actually. And it was like everything was being done to me. So that was a big thing of how I felt then. And something snapped inside me because I was like, okay, this is affecting the way I'm being with my husband, Eamon. It's affecting the way I'm being with my children and my family, because I'm just not able to find joy in the everyday because my mind is consumed by this situation. And it was after, you know, a good few weeks of dwelling in this awful place, I was like, okay, no more. This isn't my life. This isn't what I'm destined to live my life like. How can I bring myself out of this? And I started listening to Oprah Winfrey, Super Soul Conversations, and reading books by Eckhart Tolle, learning about the ego. And oh my goodness, that was one of the most revolutionary things that I've ever learned, is your ego and your true self. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh my goodness, I was just acting in pure ego. And that wasn't my true self. My true self isn't hurt. My true self isn't damaged, isn't broken. That's my ego. And I'm actually okay. And the second part was, I had to come and accept my part in all of this situation. So I'm not the victim anymore. I claim the person that I was being. And, you know, like our ego, we go one up or one down. So we can either feel superior or inferior. And I knew I was constantly dropping into feeling inferior, that other people were better than me, which is complete nonsense. No one is better than anybody else. We are all the same. On a soul level, we are all the same. Like Beyonce and me, we are the same. And this is what really kind of brought my healing. And it was, I felt like 2019 was a huge healing journey for me, where less and less I felt that I was stepping out of the victim mode, realizing my part in everything, acknowledging my part, and actually saying, okay, yeah, that wasn't my true self. I didn't act in the way that my true self would be. And I forgive myself first, and then offer that out to the universe. Or, you know, even if you feel compelled to actually go to the people who you're in a situation with, I did my own healing journey and healing work on all that. And then through doing the daily meditations, I started journaling again, which I always journaled as a child. It was something I did daily. And then I don't know when I stopped. I don't know why I stopped. I did it at university as well, because in the somatic work, it's how we closed each of the practices. We journaled and we spoke about what came up for us. And then I just stopped doing it. And so I started picking that all back up and doing this inner work. And that's where I really was able to open my heart up to really receiving what the universe, what God, whoever you believe in, can offer you. And I started getting downloads of different ideas. Some of them were crazy. The next thing I was researching was yoga teacher training. And I was like, what? I've never thought about doing my yoga teacher training. Why am I researching this now? And then lo and behold, I was researching it. And then the next thing, I was on the phone to this lady who was running the course. It was on my doorstep and it was starting the following week. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just too crazy. Like, what is happening? But I made all the arrangements. My husband was super supportive and said, you know, like, yeah, I'll have the kids for every weekend for 3 months, which is a big ask. I'm not sure if I'd be able to do the same. But he did that, and I did my yoga teacher training. And I believe that was the first step in me following my intuition, and it was the first step of really opening the doorway to what I was then going on to do. And it really helped heal me, just doing that inner work, the practices, the movement, the meditation, and being surrounded by other like-minded women. It completely transformed me. And I would say that, yeah, it was then that I started to reconnect to Sally again, what brought me joy. I started dancing again, which I hadn't danced like that, with my eyes closed, just letting almost like spirit dance through me. I hadn't done that in years and years and years. So I had many profound moments where I was just in tears, dancing with my eyes closed and just feeling that deep connection to my true essence and spirituality. And through that, often they're the times where I just get visions like buzzing around my head. And it just brings me to tears, because I feel like I've got limitless potentiality and feel completely at one with the universe in those moments as well. So, yeah.
Reading that in, yeah. And I think a lot of people might look at someone like yourself or myself and think, oh my gosh, like they're so lucky, they know exactly what they want and they followed it. When actually all that you did is you had this desire to do something, and then it opened up and opened up, and then before you know it, it was wanting you, and you were on the yoga course, you found a way. If you'd have thought too much about how am I going to do this, I've got the kids, you probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But came in, the universe wanted it to happen, and because you lent into that desire and you listened to that intuitive download, that's the relationship, isn't it, that we need to lean on, because following our desires, what else is there? A desire is I I believe, like the universe talking to you through you. This is your path. This is what you want to do. Like lean into it and do it. And you did it.
Yeah. I did.
Oh.
And
and that's been like the foundation or the catalyst to then your growth and your development in all of these other areas, right? Your self-love and all the work you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. And if any of you are listening to this and you're like, oh, I don't know if I have a purpose, or my life is so busy, or you're a mom, and I totally get all of that. The thing I'd say is start doing the inner work. Just get a notebook and start writing. Put on some beautiful music that kind of connects with your heart, light a candle, and start just writing and letting your heart talk to you, getting out of your mind. I always say that our hands are an extension of our heart. So when we're able to write with our pen instead of typing and, on our phones, it gives this opportunity for our heart to express to us what it needs to express in that moment. And profound things can come out of your writing, can't they? Sometimes, I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like it's not me writing. And I read it back, I'm like, wow, I needed to hear that. But I know it was coming from like a higher realm, not my ego self, basically, not my mind. It was coming from my true essence, connected with the universe, God, whoever. But in those moments, the more you start to figure out who you are and connect with your inner world, that's for me when I feel you start opening yourself up to new opportunities and synchronicity, and things just happen without you even noticing, realizing, and you're like, wow, oh my goodness, I did not see that coming. And I was, yes, amazing, thank you.
Yes, and this is it. Like you are an absolute soul digger, because the magic is within us. We just don't see it. We aren't ready to receive it. We don't sit still enough to be with it. So could you give my listeners, like, they've got a blank piece of paper and a pen. Have you got like a question that you would like prompt to then journal?
Because I think another important thing that we're brought up in society is like when we're not feeling good, we're taught to kind of like just what do you call it, like brush it under the carpet, or just get over it and just be happy and be grateful for what you've got. But the one question that I would always ask yourself is, how am I feeling right now? And just be really honest with yourself, whether you're feeling really vulnerable, whether you're feeling hurt or in pain, or actually if you're feeling in a really good place. Just be really honest with yourself and how you are feeling right now. And then the next question I'd ask yourself is, how do you want to feel? What would be the next, best feeling for you? Like, you want to feel content, you want to feel like you're giving back to the world, or you just want to feel really happy and connected and love yourself. Write it all down, because in those moments you start to see, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now, that's how I want to feel, and then how can I start to journey onto feeling how I want to feel, and making the steps that you need to, whether that's a daily practice or bringing more joy into your life. That's one of the biggest things that we need to do as humans, is bring more play, bring more joy, do things that light us up, and just chill. Like, don't put so much pressure on ourselves.
I love that. Yes. And one thing that might sound really like small and trivial is like, I started to just wear no underwear.
Brilliant.
Like wearing no knickers and no underwear. Like, I feel so much more feminine and tuned into my body. Like, it's making me just tap in more to me and to be able to be with myself. So like that little top tip for anyone who's thinking, I'm just not going to wear any knickers today. Just free.
I love that. I can't do that at the moment because my pelvic floor, oh my goodness. I'm just goodness. Every time I cough, I have to like cross my legs over.
Goodness.
The joys of being pregnant and having 2 children.
Yeah, well, talking about pregnancy, one of the things that really stood out to me was your you have a course coming up that you're releasing about empowering women within their pregnancy.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your kind of self-love journey and then kind of the work that you do now.
Yeah, well, it completely crosses over into pregnancy is what I've completely realized recently. So I've obviously had 2 children, and that has been, even the whole process of being pregnant and then having your baby and then having all this squishiness in your body that you're not used to. And for me, it doesn't just disappear overnight. It was a good 9 months to a year where I felt a little bit more like me again, because your hips start to grow further apart, your back expands, which I had no idea about. But that for me was a whole journey of really accepting myself through every stage of how I looked, how I felt, and loving myself through that, instead of being like, oh, look at your body, look how wobbly your belly is, for example. And instead, how incredible is your body, what it's done and what it's capable of doing. It grew life, and being grateful for that. So flipping it, instead of looking at the mirror, looking at yourself in a negative way, how can you feel empowered when you start to speak to yourself? And coming into my 3rd pregnancy, I got an overwhelming feeling. Well, the first thing that what hit me was when I found out I was pregnant this time. I was sat on the toilet, and you obviously had this pregnancy stick. And I was like waiting. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see another line appearing. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Oh my goodness. Like, and then I just got this, it was like excitement and like surprise and what? And fear took over me as well. And I could feel my eyes were filling up, and I was feeling this anxiety, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give birth again, and go through the whole process of being pregnant. And yeah, it was those feelings that caught me off guard, and my heart started racing. And I'm also an EFT practitioner, so I was like, right, I need to do some work on this. I can't go into this pregnancy and journey through this pregnancy full of fear. I want to transform this for myself. I want to bring healing to my past 2 experiences. And not that they were, well, my first one was more of a traumatic experience. My second one was a bit more healing, but things happened where I went to the hospital and my contractions completely stopped. And then when I went back home, they started again. So in the comfort of my own home, my contractions started again. I felt safe. I felt in my little den almost. And then I went back to the hospital and it happened again. My contractions completely stopped. And I went back home, they started again. And the 3rd time I got to the hospital and I gave birth within an hour at the birthing centre. So in the end, it was positive, but I was like, what happened? Why did I stop contracting? And all of these thoughts were going through my mind. But what I've recently done last year, I did a doula course and my prenatal yoga. First and foremost, why I did that was to empower myself, to educate myself on what a woman's body does from the moment you conceive and go on your pregnancy journey to birth and beyond. And so much of it resonated with me. And so I had so many, oh my goodness, I did not know that. And I've been reading books, just soaking myself in all this new information. And it completely crosses over into self-love, like being aligned with the universe, with the truth of love, and how we all want to be on the highest vibration of love, which is exactly the same when you're pregnant, especially in labor. We want to raise our levels of oxytocin. We want to eliminate fear, adrenaline, because that's what slows our labor down, which is what happened to me. I went into fear, flight, and my body was like, it's not safe to birth here. So it completely just stopped. And after knowing all this, I realized I was kind of frustrated at myself, because the other 2 pregnancies, it was just drilled into me that the most important thing is that you have a healthy baby by the end of it. That is perfectly fine, but also for a woman, if you are not educated and you don't know the whole process of what happens to you in labor and how it can be such a beautiful, empowering experience, you are just opening yourself to, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow and what happens, and you don't realize the whole journey and how you can actually bring pleasure, you can bring joy, you can bring love into it instead of just feeling pain, which is what we're taught. We're taught on the films, like these women screaming. And from my 2 previous ones, because I didn't know anything, it's like you just wait for the medical team to tell you what's next, what's going to happen next, and to do all these different examinations on you. And knowing what I know now, the biggest thing is that we have a choice with everything. No medical person can tell you that you have to do something or they have to do something to you. You have the choice, whether it's a vaginal examination or if your waters go, you don't have to give birth within 24 hours, for example. Yeah, we have this pressure on us. If your waters go, this is what happened with my first, well, you have to give birth within 24 hours. Otherwise, your risk of infection. And recently what I've learned is that there's no actual solid evidence behind that. But then it just puts pressure on the pregnant woman to try and all of a sudden give birth within 24 hours. But it's not that easy. Your body and baby does it when it feels safe to do it, when it's ready to do it. So it might be 48 hours after your waters have gone. So it was all these little things that I learned, and the biggest thing was how to raise levels of oxytocin during labor. So even having your children around, because when they're not driving you mad, they also bring you a lot of love, and how they can actually help in the birthing process because they love you so much, and you have this overwhelming love for them with your husband, to kiss them, to come into this loving place rather than like just feeling into the pain of it. So if you raise your levels of oxytocin, your body is working to empower and push the baby down with love and power and all the good things that you want to experience, rather than, you know, the other things like adrenaline and fear. So I feel like I'm going on a tangent now, but basically after educating myself, I got this overwhelming feeling that if I don't know this, and I had a few friends around me at the time last year who gave birth and had traumatic experiences because they didn't know anything. And I thought, enough, we need to start raising this awareness. We need to start educating women of how powerful they are, what they're capable of doing. And when they're aligned with their truth of their body is born and made to create and to birth their baby, no matter what size it is, that your body is designed to do that perfectly in the most, you know, it's amazing how it all works with your hips and the baby size. It all happens perfectly. Everything is synchronized and in harmony. And when you know that and you really believe that, you have this, you know, kind of overwhelming feeling that you are safe to do this. You are empowered to do this, and it's your choice, and you can have the birth that you desire. So yeah, this membership, it's full of different yoga flows. I've also got a few dance videos in there because I'm also a Shake Your Soul teacher, which Shake Your Soul moves through all the fluids in your body, and you get to this like ecstatic place of just dancing and invigorating your soul, your body, your mind. And it's so beautiful to do this as well when you're pregnant, because it's almost like you're dancing with the baby. And so I've got about 3 videos of that in there. I've got really potent meditations in there, visualisations, healing meditations to also help release and heal past trauma or fear. Even if you've never had a baby, I don't know, most women who actually, they do have an element of fear. So it's whatever that is. I've got healing meditations in there, breath work, and then talks with experts around the field, positive birth stories, and how you can empower yourself on this journey of being pregnant, having your baby, birthing your baby, and then beyond, how you can just be really kind to yourself and bring love into your life in and after the baby arrives. So yeah, I feel that I've just completely talked at you for ages, but have any questions like come up for you, or should I go into any other areas of all that?
Wow, I'm just like, whoa, powerful. I know that my listeners are just getting so much value from this, so please do screenshot this episode, tag Sally in the post and myself, and we'll give Sally's Instagram handle at the end, and just let's share this with women and help them to feel empowered. And me personally, you know, I used to be scared to death of giving birth. Like everyone that I used to speak to was like, oh God, don't have kids. Oh God, it's awful.
Yeah.
And actually, when I kind of became more conscious and awake, like so many women had positive experiences, some orgasmic experiences.
Yeah.
My friend Sophie was like, it was orgasmic. I felt like I was having orgasms. I was like, sign me up. Come on, find a man.
Yeah. Ina May, she talks about that. She's like a global birth educator. She's been doing it like years. She's quite a bit older now, but she talks a lot in her book all about orgasmic births. And you're like, oh yes, please. I would love that.
So your course is for women who are pregnant or maybe like who is it for?
Yes, so it's for women after your first trimester, and we say for second and third trimesters because in your first trimester, that is when everything is kind of, you need to have the definite okay by the doctor and everything is implanting and working its magic. So second trimester, third trimester, and yeah, basically if you're pregnant, come and join and feel empowered and join our community. That's the other thing. There's going to be, I'm going to build a Facebook group where we can really talk and share our experiences, and you can connect with other pregnant women, and women will obviously stay in there after they've had the baby. So it'll be this awesome energy in the group where we can talk, share how we're feeling, and especially at this time, if you're listening right now, we feel quite isolated. And I know when I first had Hugo, I felt quite lonely. So this is a time where we can come together, connect with other mums, and feel that support, that love, and know that we are not on our own.
Wow. Yeah. And you know what a gift this actually is at this time, because you know, to have the accessibility of having this online program that you've created for women during this time, being in a community, feeling safe and excited to give birth and to feel at ease. You know, how different would the world be if women experience pregnancy from this place of love, because it impacts the baby.
Yeah.
You know, have you got any facts or science behind how a mother thinks and what she speaks on the baby in the womb?
Yeah, well, it's all, this is where it completely relates to self-love and what you're taught on your self-love journey, you know, with the way you talk to yourself, the way you think, it has to be aligned with what you want. So if we're constantly talking, oh, I'm really scared about having this baby, what if something goes wrong, what about if I, you know, the opposite of what you want, that is what you're speaking out into the universe. So the universe doesn't understand that you don't actually want it. It just hears the words that you're saying and will be like, okay, here you go. This is what you keep saying. So I'm going to give you what you want. And you're on that vibration. So with the Empower Your Pregnancy, when you're doing the visualizations of what is the birth that you really desire in your heart of hearts, how do you want to feel in this pregnancy? How you know, you want to feel after you've had the baby. You want to feel joy and gratefulness, you know, and all these different wonderful feelings. When you start to fully embody and embrace that as much as you can, that is what you're speaking into your life. Like, there's affirmation meditation. So with those, you're practicing saying the positive things that you want. My body and my baby know what to do. I breathe my baby out. I'm going to experience love and joy through this experience. And they're the words that you need to be speaking out. And the more you say it, the more you believe it. Isn't that right? Because, you know, when you look in the mirror, you're like, I'm so fat, or, you know, and the more you say it, the more you start to believe that you're fat. The more that you say that you're beautiful, look at your amazing body, the more you say it and really embody it, you start to believe it. And it's such a transformational, tiny little thing that we can do. So speak what you want out into the universe, to others, to yourself, and know that it absolutely can happen for you.
Wow. Yeah. Sally, this has been such a potent, powerful episode, and I can't wait to listen back to this when I'm pregnant, and I'm definitely doing an online course, that's for sure. And I can't wait to hear how your birth is going to be so beautiful, so orgasmic in a few weeks. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So when is your course actually out, or roughly when is it being launched?
Hopefully by the end of Jan 2021, it should be launched. So the end of this month. I'm really doing all the work now, so it will be live before I have this next baby. And one little thing I just want to say is that whatever birth you want to have, whether it's a home birth or C-section, or, you know, whatever birth you end up having to have as well, you can still feel so empowered in any experience. So it's not to say home birth is better than a C-section, because I know many women have to have a C-section, but you can also, when you are educated around empowering yourself in a C-section, there are so many opportunities and different offerings that you can opt for that we don't know unless you do your research. So it's just to say you can be empowered in any birth situation that you choose. And yeah, it's your choice at the end of the day as well. But yeah, this is going live the end of Jan, and I'm so excited. I can't wait.
And how can people find you on social media? If you want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yes, it's just my name, Sally Fazeli. So my surname is spelled F for Foxtrot, Azeli. So yeah, come and find me, say hi. If you've got any questions, I'm here to support you in all of that journey. So yes, thank you.
Great. And we'll put all that in the show notes, and we'll put a link to your course as soon as it's out. We'll put it back into the show notes for everyone. It's like an evergreen course, I'd imagine. So if people listening to this in, say, December 2021, it's still going to be available for them.
Yeah, and you also get a free week's trial. So you get a free week, and so you can see if it's for you or not. And then you can either do monthly, or you can, you know, pay for 3 months or 6 months. So yeah, there's different options. So yeah, I'm excited.
So please screenshot and share this episode with all of your pregnant friends, ladies, because let's empower more women to just feel good in their pregnancies and just have an amazing orgasmic experience, right?
Yeah. Woohoo.
And just before we go, we hit a milestone of having 111 5-star reviews in December, which I'm so happy about. So I'm just going to read out a 5-star review for this week.
Yeah.
This is from Melba Toast 22. She says, I have honestly recommended this podcast to so many people. Real life, raw advice that is easy to do and apply to help shift you to make moves in your life. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to consider listening. This is for everyone and anyone. Mindset is everything, and this turned mine around. Thank you so much for making this, Kim. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Melba Toast 22. I'm not sure what you know. And we're currently on 111 5-star reviews, and the goal is 333 by the end of the year. So we've tripled it. So let's make this happen, and let's spread this message, guys. And thank you so much, Sally. You are a gift to this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you for joining me for another episode. I hope your soul feels inspired and expansive, ready for new levels. And if you want to work with me deeper and you want to know more about my work with Arbonne and how I help people to live aligned, please reach out. I also have a Align and Shine 5-day course that helps you to live in complete alignment, being in flow and ease and co-creation with the universe. So for more information on that, please head over to the Soul Digger Instagram, @, or my website, kimmella.co.uk. And until next time, please subscribe, share this with a friend, and leave a 5-star review. And please let me know what you love best about this episode. And remember, the magic is within.